Hello, my name is Ed Bloom. I'm a principal at the law firm of Offit Kerman. Today I'm going to be talking about letters of intent, also known as LOIs, for a lease transaction. A letter of intent for a lease is a document, usually non-binding, that briefly outlines the elements of a lease transaction. Tenants have maximum leverage when negotiating an LOI because that is when a landlord wants to make the deal. Used out leverage. Today, I'm going to be talking about 10 tips. First, describe the premises you are leasing with specificity. Specify the amount of square footage that you're leasing. Do not allow the landlord to change it. Designate a suite number. Suite 500 is certainly better than Suite 550. Also, attach a diagram. Remember, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Second, set forth the rent in dollars per square foot. Also include any rent escalations. Most every lease provides the rent goes up commencing with year 2. 2.5% is the number that most likely favors the tenant over the landlord. Also, specify the amount of rent abatement. Again, most leases will provide some amount of free rent, 1 to 12 months, sometimes paid over a period of time. Get the more rent abatement that you can. Third, flexibility is the key. Include options. Options to expand, options to extend, option to terminate. Again, maximize that flexibility. Fourth, all leases have a security deposit. Designate in dollars the amount of the security deposit. If you perform well during the first 2 years, possibly include burn-off provisions so the security deposit is reduced over time. Also, provide for a letter of credit. That decreases the amount of cash required up front. And most important, avoid personal guarantees. Fifth, include the amount of build-out allowance. Most landlords will provide an allowance to build out the space. Remember, it's never enough. Sometimes you may have what is called turnkey. That is where the landlord builds out the space for the tenant. Attach details. You want to make sure you get what you bargained for. If the landlord's providing an allowance, put it in dollars per square foot. So if during the lease negotiation the square footage is changed, your allowance changes. And most important, avoid any fees paid to landlord. That's part of the deal. It's going to supervise. It's not a profit center. Sixth, define the condition of the space. When the landlord tenders the space to you, it's called shell condition. The landlord should provide as much as possible. Anything not provided by the landlord, you may end up paying for. Again, potential expense. Seventh, one of the most important things in your LOI is to include reasonableness language for assignment of subletting. That is a key to provide maximum flexibility to you. You do not want to negotiate that in the lease. Get it up front in the letter of intent. Eighth, specify the commencement date. The lease should not commence until all the landlord's work is complete. If it's not completed by a date certain, the landlord should pay your holdover costs if you have to stay in your current space, and is not completed by an absolute date certain, a right to terminate. You need a hammer to protect your rights. Ninth, the brokers are your friends. Name the brokers in your LOI and require the landlord to pay all commissions. And 10th, and probably most important, the LOI should be non-binding. Either party can walk away. If the tenant finds a better deal or circumstances change, you should not be obligated until the lease is fully executed. Good luck with your lease search. Thank you.